In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars shimmered like diamonds scattered across an endless black velvet canvas, there existed a realm known only to a select few. It was a place shrouded in mystery and whispered about in hushed tones among the interstellar communities, a realm ruled by the formidable alien queen, whose very name struck fear into the hearts of even the bravest warriors. Her empire stretched across galaxies, her dominion unchallenged, her power absolute. The queen's palace floated amidst a swirling nebula of iridescent colors, its crystalline spires reaching toward the heavens, catching the light of distant suns and scattering rainbows across the void. Within this celestial fortress, the queen held court, surrounded by her most trusted advisors and generals. She was a being of unparalleled beauty and terrifying majesty, her form a perfect amalgamation of grace and strength. Her skin shimmered with an otherworldly glow, shifting hues like liquid mercury under the soft luminescence of the palace's bioluminescent gardens. Her eyes, deep pools of violet that seemed to contain entire universes within them, could pierce through the strongest defenses, reading thoughts and emotions with uncanny precision. Her voice, when she chose to speak, carried the weight of thunder and the melody of 1,000 harps, capable of inspiring both awe and terror in equal measure. The queen's rule was characterized by an iron fist wrapped in silk gloves. She demanded perfection from her subjects, expecting nothing less than complete obedience and unwavering loyalty. Her armies were legendary, composed of creatures bred for war and conditioned from birth to follow her commands without question. They were relentless, efficient, and utterly merciless in their pursuit of conquest. Under her guidance, the empire had expanded at an unprecedented rate, swallowing planets whole and assimilating countless species into its fold. Yet, despite her seemingly limitless power, there was one aspect of the universe that puzzled the queen: humanity. These fragile beings, so small and insignificant compared to the mighty races that populated the stars, had somehow managed to survive and thrive on their tiny blue-green world. Reports from her scouts painted a picture of a species riddled with contradictions, capable of great cruelty yet equally capable of profound compassion, driven by ambition yet tempered by morality, physically weak yet possessed of an indomitable spirit. The queen found it difficult to reconcile these conflicting traits, struggling to understand how such a paradoxical race had endured for so long. Her doubts were further fueled by the stories of human resistance movements that had sprung up on conquered worlds. While many species simply surrendered to her overwhelming might, humans fought back with a ferocity that bordered on madness. They employed unconventional tactics, using their environment to their advantage and striking from unexpected angles. Their ingenuity and adaptability made them unpredictable foes, forcing her generals to expend more resources than anticipated to maintain control over human-populated territories. This persistent defiance irritated the queen, challenging her perception of what constituted true strength. As the years passed, the queen became increasingly intrigued by the enigma of humanity. She ordered her scientists to study every aspect of human biology, psychology, and culture, hoping to uncover the secret behind their resilience. Laboratories buzzed with activity as researchers dissected captured specimens, analyzed historical records, and conducted simulations to predict human behavior. Yet, despite their best efforts, the answers remained elusive. The queen grew frustrated, her curiosity morphing into a simmering anger. How could such a feeble species continue to defy her will? What hidden power did they possess that allowed them to stand against her mighty empire? It was during one of these contemplative moments, as she gazed out upon the swirling colors of the nebula surrounding her palace, that the queen made a decision. She would put humanity to the ultimate test, devising a scenario that would reveal once and for all whether they truly possessed the strength she suspected or if their resistance was merely a facade masking inherent weakness. The stage was set, the players unaware of the drama about to unfold. The queen smiled, a cold, calculating expression that sent shivers down the spines of those who witnessed it. The day of reckoning was approaching, and when it arrived, humanity would face a challenge unlike any they had encountered before. On a remote outpost nestled within the shadow of a dying star, Captain Elena Vasquez paced the length of the command center, her boots echoing against the metallic floor. The dim red glow of emergency lights cast long shadows across the room, illuminating the tense faces of her crew. They had been monitoring unusual activity along the edge of human-controlled space for weeks, but tonight, something felt different. The sensors had picked up strange energy signatures, patterns that didn't match anything in their databases. As the ranking officer, Elena bore the weight of responsibility, knowing that whatever was coming, it would fall to her team to respond. "Captain," Lieutenant Marcus Chen called from his station, his voice tight with urgency. "We're detecting multiple objects entering our sector. They're moving fast. Too fast for conventional propulsion systems." Elena moved swiftly to his side, leaning over his shoulder to examine the data streaming across his screen. Sure enough, dozens of blips appeared on the radar, each one accelerating at impossible speeds. "Can we get visual confirmation?" she asked, her mind racing through potential scenarios. Chen nodded, fingers flying over his console. A moment later, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made Elena's breath catch in her throat. Ships unlike anything she'd ever seen filled the screen, their sleek, organic forms pulsating with an eerie luminescence. They moved with a fluid grace, as if alive, weaving between asteroids and debris with effortless precision. At their center loomed a massive vessel, its surface covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change, mesmerizing to behold. "Those aren't just ships," muttered Specialist Priya Patel, her eyes wide with a mixture of wonder and dread. "They're beautiful." Elena straightened, her military training kicking in. Beautiful or not, these vessels represented an unknown threat, and she needed to act. "Sound the alarm," she ordered, her voice steady despite the knot forming in her stomach. "Prepare all defensive systems and alert the fleet. We need reinforcements here immediately." As the klaxons blared throughout the outpost, Elena turned to face her crew. Each member looked to her for guidance, their trust evident in their eyes. She knew they were scared, she was too, but showing fear now would only undermine their morale. Instead, she drew upon the lessons learned during countless battles, channeling her anxiety into determination. "Lieutenant Chen, keep tracking their movements. I want to know everything we can about those ships." Patel, analyze their energy signatures. See if you can find any weaknesses. "And someone get me a secure line to command. We need to warn them about this incursion." The crew sprang into action, their movements synchronized and purposeful. Despite the chaos unfolding around them, Elena felt a surge of pride. These men and women were the best of humanity, trained to handle situations exactly like this. Together, they formed a cohesive unit, each person playing their part in the symphony of defense. Minutes ticked by, tension mounting with each passing second. The alien ships continued their approach, maintaining a steady course toward the outpost. Elena watched as Chen's fingers danced across his keyboard, pulling up detailed scans of the lead vessel. Suddenly, his brow furrowed, and he glanced up at her. "Captain, I'm picking up some kind of transmission. It's encoded, but I think I can decrypt it." "Do it," Elena commanded, stepping closer to his station. Whatever message the aliens intended to send, she needed to hear it. Knowledge was power, especially in situations like this. Chen worked quickly, his expertise evident in the speed with which he cracked the code. A moment later, a distorted voice crackled through the speakers, speaking in halting, accented English. "This is the vanguard of the Celestial Empire. Surrender your position, and you will be spared. Resist, and you will be annihilated." A collective gasp rippled through the command center, followed by a heavy silence. Elena's mind raced, processing the implications of the ultimatum. This wasn't a random attack, it was a calculated invasion, orchestrated by an advanced civilization intent on expanding its territory. But why here? Why now? She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what came next. Turning to face her crew once more, she spoke with quiet authority. "We don't surrender. Not to anyone. Prepare for engagement. If they want this outpost, they'll have to take it from us." Her words ignited a spark within the room, reigniting the fighting spirit that defined humanity. Weapon systems came online, shields powered up, and communication channels opened to coordinate with nearby patrols. Elena knew the odds were against them, but she also knew that sometimes sheer willpower could tip the scales in their favor. As the first wave of alien fighters broke formation and surged forward, Elena gripped the railing beside her, watching the tactical display with hawk-like intensity. Every fiber of her being screamed to join the fray, to lead her troops into battle personally. But she understood her role better than anyone else. She was the strategist, the anchor holding everything together. Her place was here, directing the fight from the heart of the command center. The initial skirmish erupted with explosive fury, plasma bolts and laser beams crisscrossing the void as human and alien forces clashed. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the defenders fought with desperate tenacity, utilizing every trick in their arsenal to hold the line. Elena barked orders, her voice cutting through the din of combat, guiding her pilots and gunners with surgical precision. Each successful maneuver bought them precious seconds. Each enemy ship destroyed a small victory in the larger war. But the tide began to turn as the alien flagship unleashed its full might. Massive beams of energy lanced out, slicing through human defenses like paper. Outposts fell silent one by one, their crews overwhelmed by the relentless assault. Elena clenched her fists, frustration boiling beneath her calm exterior. She had always believed in the resilience of her people, in their ability to overcome any obstacle. Yet, faced with such overwhelming force, doubt crept into her mind. Was this the end? Had humanity finally met its match? Then, amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged. A young ensign named Alex Kim, barely out of the academy, executed a daring maneuver that caught the enemy off guard. Using the gravitational pull of a nearby asteroid, he slingshot his fighter into the midst of the alien formation, unleashing a barrage of missiles that crippled several key vessels. Inspired by his bravery, others followed suit, launching coordinated attacks that disrupted the invaders' advance. Elena watched in awe as her crew rallied, drawing strength from each other and from the shared belief that they could prevail. Against all odds, they pushed back, reclaiming lost ground inch by inch. The Queen's forces, accustomed to swift victories, faltered under the unexpected resistance. For the first time, doubt flickered in the minds of the invaders, sown by the indomitable spirit of humanity. Back aboard her floating palace, the alien queen observed the unfolding battle with growing unease. Her elegant throne room, usually a sanctuary of serenity, now pulsed with the frenetic energy of incoming reports. Holographic projections filled the air, displaying real-time footage of the conflict raging around the human outpost. Each image reinforced what her commanders had initially dismissed as impossible. Humanity was holding its ground. At first, the Queen had watched with detached interest, confident that her superior forces would crush the puny resistance without significant effort. After all, countless other species had fallen before her might, their capitulation swift and inevitable. But as the hours dragged on, the tide of battle refused to turn decisively in her favor. Instead, the humans fought with a ferocity that defied logic, employing tactics that were both ingenious and reckless. They sacrificed themselves willingly, buying time for others to regroup and strike again. Their coordination was seamless, their resolve unshakable. The Queen leaned forward in her throne, her violet eyes narrowing as she scrutinized the holograms. There was something almost poetic about the way the humans moved, a dance of desperation and defiance that resonated deeply within her. She had always prided herself on understanding the nature of strength, the raw power of her armies, the technological superiority of her weapons, the strategic brilliance of her generals. Yet, none of these attributes fully explained what she was witnessing now. Her chief advisor, a towering insectoid creature named Zixer, approached cautiously, sensing the shift in her mood. "Your Majesty," he began, his multifaceted eyes reflecting concern, "our forces are encountering unexpected difficulties. The humans, they fight differently than anticipated." "Differently?" the Queen echoed, her voice a low growl. "Explain." Zixer hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Their strategies are adaptive, fluid. They utilize their environment in ways we have not seen before, turning disadvantages into opportunities. Moreover, their soldiers exhibit a level of cohesion and mutual support that suggests a deep-seated bond beyond mere camaraderie." The Queen absorbed this information, her mind racing. Bonds. That was the missing piece, the element she had failed to account for. In her quest for dominance, she had focused on physical prowess and intellectual capacity, dismissing emotional connections as irrelevant. Yet, here was proof that such bonds could amplify strength, transforming individuals into a unified force capable of challenging even the mightiest adversaries. She turned to face him, her expression inscrutable. "Adaptation is expected, General. What concerns me is the source of their resilience. Their unity. It is unnatural, almost otherworldly." Vortak shifted uncomfortably, unused to hearing uncertainty from his sovereign. Perhaps it is their primitive nature, their reliance on emotion over logic. It makes them unpredictable. The Queen shook her head, dismissing the notion. No, there is more to it. Their bonds run deeper than mere emotion. They draw strength from each other, amplifying their capabilities exponentially. It is a phenomenon we have underestimated. Silence settled between them, broken only by the soft hum of the palace's ambient systems. The Queen's gaze drifted back to the holograms, her mind wrestling with implications that challenged her worldview. For centuries, she had equated strength with dominance, believing that power resided in the ability to subjugate others. Yet, the humans demonstrated a different paradigm, one rooted in connection and cooperation. "Recall our forces," she commanded suddenly, surprising even herself with the decision. "Withdraw from the outpost. Let them have this victory." Vortak stared at her, incredulous. "Your Majesty, we cannot afford to show weakness. To retreat now would embolden them, invite further resistance." The Queen's eyes narrowed, a flicker of irritation crossing her features. "Do not mistake my decision for weakness, General. This is a strategic withdrawal, a recalibration of our approach. We have much to learn from these humans, and I intend to study them closely. Our methods must evolve if we are to achieve true supremacy." Reluctantly, Vortak bowed, accepting her decree. As he departed to execute the order, the Queen sank back into her throne, her thoughts a whirlwind of possibilities. The humans had forced her to confront uncomfortable truths, to question the foundations upon which her empire was built. Strength, she realized, was not a monolithic concept but a multifaceted tapestry woven from threads of courage, loyalty, and love. Her mind wandered to the images of human soldiers working in tandem, supporting each other through unimaginable hardships. There was a beauty in their solidarity, a harmony that transcended individual prowess. Could such bonds exist within her own ranks? Or had her emphasis on discipline and obedience stifled the natural inclination toward connection? These musings stirred a restlessness within her, a desire to explore avenues previously dismissed as irrelevant. Perhaps integrating elements of human philosophy into her governance could yield unforeseen benefits. The idea was radical, perhaps even heretical, but the seeds of change had been planted, nurtured by the spectacle of human resilience. As the alien fleet disengaged, retreating into the depths of space, the Queen remained seated, her gaze fixed on the fading projections. The battle may have ended, but the war for understanding had only just begun. Humanity had proven itself a worthy adversary, not because of its technology or numbers, but because of its indomitable spirit. And in that realization lay the potential for transformation, not just for her empire, but for herself as well. Far below, amidst the wreckage and debris of the contested outpost, Captain Elena Vasquez surveyed the aftermath with a mixture of relief and sorrow. The immediate threat had passed, but the scars ran deep, etched into the metal and flesh alike. Bodies lay still, heroes who had given everything to protect their comrades. Elena knelt beside one such figure, a young engineer named Sarah, whose laughter had once brightened the darkest corners of the command center. Now, silence reigned where joy had once flourished. Her fingers brushed gently over Sarah's cheek, a final gesture of respect and gratitude. Tears welled in her eyes, but she blinked them away, unwilling to succumb to grief entirely. There would be time for mourning later, when the dust had settled and the wounded tended to. For now, duty called, demanding her attention and leadership. Rising to her feet, Elena addressed the surviving crew, her voice hoarse but resolute. "We've won this round," she declared, injecting as much strength into her words as she could muster. "But the fight isn't over. We need to secure the perimeter, assess damages, and prepare for whatever comes next. Everyone has a job to do." Her words galvanized the survivors, snapping them out of their stunned stupor. Slowly, methodically, they began the arduous task of cleanup and repair. Medical teams tended to the injured, engineers patched breaches in the hull, and technicians worked tirelessly to restore essential systems. The air buzzed with activity, a testament to the enduring human spirit. Yet, amidst the organized chaos, whispers circulated among the crew. Stories of bravery and sacrifice spread like wildfire, igniting a renewed sense of purpose. Ensign Kim's daring maneuver became legend, recounted with reverence and awe. Others shared tales of lesser-known heroes, those who had quietly performed extraordinary feats, ensuring the survival of their peers. These narratives wove a tapestry of hope, binding the survivors together in a shared legacy of triumph. Elena moved among her people, listening to their stories, offering comfort where needed. She recognized the importance of these moments, understanding that healing required more than physical repairs. Emotional wounds needed tending too, and she took it upon herself to facilitate that process. By acknowledging the pain and celebrating the victories, she fostered an environment where resilience could flourish. In the days that followed, reinforcements arrived, bringing supplies and additional personnel. News of the outpost stand spread throughout human-controlled space, inspiring others to resist the alien incursions with renewed vigor. Leaders from neighboring sectors reached out, seeking advice and sharing intelligence. The battle had become a symbol of defiance, a rallying cry for all who valued freedom and autonomy. For Elena, the experience left an indelible mark. She had always believed in the strength of humanity, but witnessing it firsthand, under such extreme conditions, solidified her convictions. The bonds formed during the conflict transcended mere camaraderie. They were lifelines, anchors that kept everyone grounded amidst the turbulence. She vowed never to underestimate the power of connection again, resolving to nurture those relationships wherever she went. As the outpost gradually returned to operational status, preparations commenced for the inevitable next encounter. Training sessions intensified, strategies evolved, and contingency plans multiplied. The crew embraced these changes with enthusiasm, driven by a collective determination to be ready. They knew the aliens would return, stronger and more determined than before. But they also knew they had something the invaders lacked, a unity forged in fire, a strength born of love and loyalty. Elena stood once more in the command center, overseeing drills and simulations. Her gaze occasionally drifted to the empty seats, reminders of those who had fallen. But instead of sadness, she felt pride. Pride in the legacy they had left behind, in the inspiration they provided. Humanity's story was far from over, and she intended to ensure it continued with honor and dignity. Outside, the stars twinkled innocently, oblivious to the dramas played out beneath their watchful gaze. Somewhere among them, the alien queen plotted her next move, her mind grappling with revelations that challenged everything she thought she knew. Meanwhile, on the outpost, humanity prepared, steadfast in its belief that together, they could overcome any obstacle. The stage was set for future confrontations, each side evolving, adapting, learning. And though the path ahead remained uncertain, one thing was clear. The war had changed both sides irrevocably, setting the stage for a new chapter in the cosmic saga. As the final preparations were made, Elena received an unexpected transmission, a message from the alien queen herself. The voice was cold yet curious, acknowledging humanity's unexpected strength. "You have shown me something I did not understand," the queen admitted, her tone laced with reluctant respect. "Perhaps there is more to your kind than I believed." Elena paused, weighing her response carefully. "Strength isn't just about power or technology," she replied firmly. "It's about standing together, even when the odds seem impossible." The line went silent for a moment before the queen spoke again. "Then let this be a new beginning. A truce for now, but know that I will watch, and I will learn." With that, the transmission ended, leaving Elena and her crew in stunned silence. For the first time, hope flickered where fear had once reigned. Humanity had proven its worth, not through conquest but through connection. As the stars shimmered above, both sides retreated to reflect on what had transpired, and what might come next. The war had changed them all, planting seeds of understanding in the vast expanse of the unknown. And though peace remained fragile, it was a start, one small step toward coexistence in a universe brimming with possibilities.